back, everybody, to Who's Your Band? I am Jeffrey Paul. I am joined by my co-host for this week, well, as always, Sean Morton. How are you, Sean?
Oh, I'm wonderful. One of my favorite guests is going to be on this show today. I have a lot to talk to him about too. Let me just tell you.
Yeah, he is a singer. He's a songwriter. He was the name of the band was called the Eric Martin Band. Okay, his name is Eric Martin, and he was part of Mr. Big. Folks, let's welcome Mr. Eric Martin to the show. How are you, Eric?
I'm doing good. Guys. Now I'm doing good. I'm doing great. The Eric Martin Band, when we first got together on, 19.
How'd you come up with the name?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Thanks for stealing the joke right out of my mouth. We got together in 1980, and our band was called 415. We're from San Francisco Bay Area, 415, the area code of San Francisco. And then that stuck around for a long, long time. And then we got signed to Elektra Records, and our manager, who got the deal, he goes, I'm not digging the 415. I think we ought to call it Eric Martin Band. And the guys of the band, and let me tell you, the guys of the band were John Nyman, guitar player for Y&T, Troy Liketta, went on to be the drummer of Tesla. These are made men. They've been working for a long time. And they go, Eric Martin. And our manager, Herbie Herbert, who managed Journey, another made man, goes, don't let the door hit you on the ass on the way out, right? And they go, Eric, what do you think? I'm like, it's got a good ring to it. I don't mind the name personally. Anyway, yeah, I always got my ass kicked going back home in the band station wagon, going back to our big band house that had flags in the front that said 415.
That's great.
Oh, fucking kill me.
Hey, Eric, yeah, like Sean said, we're two comedians who we love like this type of music. You're one of our favorite singers. Question I wanted to ask you was, when I listen to you, and we'll talk about your music and some of the covers you did, which I found to be incredible, but I hear a little bit of soul in your voice. In fact, I hear a lot of soul in your voice. Were you influenced by any of the, or which ones of the great soul singers?
There was a few, but the guy that I put on a pedestal was Otis Redding.
Me too.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah, Otis Redding, Sam Cooke, Jackie Wilson. I like the more Wilson Pickett. I like the more edge soul singers. The Marvin Gaye was great. He was just had a beautiful timbre to his voice, but I like the guys that sounded like they smoked a pack of Tarrington cigarettes or Lucky Strikes and then knock back a bottle of Cutty Sark or some shit,
Did you have that type of music playing in your house when you were growing up?
Yeah, my dad was totally into music. I mean, he loved the 40s swing. He loved Frank Sinatra. That was constantly in the house. And my mother, she liked musicals. So it was South Pacific or Music Man, or whatever. And then as the generations went on, let me just tell you this. I always assume that people kind of know this about me, but I'm an Army brat, and we moved around from all over the United States to all over Europe. I mean, I went to elementary school in Italy, for God's sake. So everywhere we went, it was a different kind of sound on the radio.
Ah.
When we were growing up, it was Frank Sinatra and musicals, and then we started moving around. And I remember living in Germany, and it was probably a lot of black GIs. This is late 60s, probably a lot more black GIs or a bunch of white guys that love soul music too. But radio played all these soul giants. And when I go to record stores, it wasn't Capitol Records Beatles stuff. It was Stax Volt and Motown and Chess Records and, that kind of stuff. So I was sort of weaned on that music when I was growing up.
It's interesting. And you didn't actually, I mean, you're known for being, a vocalist, but didn't you start as a drummer?
Yeah. So my dad, before he joined the Army, he was a drummer in 40 swing bands when he was in high school and college. And then he was in the, man, I did the same thing in Ralph's, man. I did the same thing in Ralph's podcast. Like I'm either sweating or my nose is running or I got something going on. And I was going to use one of those red pillows that I did on Ralph's. I'll just use a t-shirt. Okay.
Who's it a t-shirt of?
This is a great t-shirt. This is a whole new conversation, but this is, it's called Dodge the Bullet. Right. And it's from I had this band, Tak Matsumoto group back in the 90s, or early 2000s with Jack Blades, Night Ranger, me, Tak Matsumoto, Chris Frazier from Foreigner. Anyway, see how much I have so much pride about these guys. Yeah. Anyway, great band though. It's a killer band. So yeah, my dad was a drummer and he was in the union, and all these bands would come through town, and great artists like Doris Day, who wasn't just like the actress Doris Day. She was an amazing singer back in her day. And Les Brown and the Band of Renown, who, this is way before your time, guys, but they were the band that were on the Merv Griffin show when I was growing up, and Dick Cavett, and all those times when you saw Jimi Hendrix.
I remember these shows.
Show,
sure.
But anyway, the Four Aces was a singing group that came through town, and they had a huge hit called Three Coins in a Fountain. Now, my dad, there's conflicting stories. He would say he was on the record, we had a gold record, a gold 38 or whatever it was, in our house that we stared at all the time. And my dad would say, yeah, I played with the Four Aces. So kind of, went around forever. But so he played. And then over the years, every Christmas, it would be a practice pad, a snare drum, a low tom, a high tom, a bass drum. Why? I mean, we could afford it, but he was doing pretty good in the Army. I don't know why he did just get the whole kit right off the bat. He just tortured and teased me for fucking years, But then I became a drummer, and I was pretty good for the time. Had a couple bands I was in. One was called Buzz. One was called Red Sun. We had this black singer. We had I said the same thing the other day, but we had this.
What type of music do you guys play?
It was rock and roll music, but and some soul music. We played. There was a band called Rare Earth, and we played Celebrate, but that's part of the story. So it was Creedence Clearwater. It was a lot of Rolling Stones. It was basically whatever the GIs wanted to play, because there was a couple GIs in the band. And one guy, the bass player, his name was best name ever that I've heard before. You'll never top this name. Even if you look on the Pac-10, names, that name, Lucky President. That was his name.
That's my brother-in-law's name.
Lucky? Is that you?
I went to school with a kid. I went to school with a kid named Eric Shin.
Eric Shitty?
Eric Shin. So if you say it really fast, he had no idea. We would call him Boner. He had no idea what we were talking about.
Yeah, Lucky President. Oh, shit, man. So, yeah, my nickname back in the day was lame. It was Mouse. How about that?
Why is that?
I was small. And then there was a book that was called The Mouse That Roared. And I had a big mouth still to this day. And I was Mouse back in the day. So, yeah, Lucky President. Another GI that I didn't know his name is just like Private Somebody. And so we played whatever they liked on the radio. So it was like, yeah, there was some funk and soul and some rock and roll but anyway, so the singer didn't show up to the gig or practice or something, and they go, Eric, you're not a bad singer. And I was okay, man. I had like my balls dropped later on in life, man. I had like a little, little Anthony and the Imperials kind of voice, a really screamy high kind of thing. And I played drums and sang at the same time on a song by Rare Earth, which was a soul song called Celebrate.
Yeah, great song.
I just want to celebrate, Anyway, so that's that. So yeah, I did play drums, and I was okay. But when I saw other drummers coming, I became a lead singer, and when I saw a bunch of other drummers, I went, "Oh shit, you got to." I only had the one book, How to Learn How to Play Drums. They had many books.
Yeah,
I was lame,
So that was your first real experience singing. Like you didn't sing like in like church or anything like that beforehand.
Not at the time, no. I mean, we sang around the house. Like I said, my mother was totally into musicals, so it was. We knew all the words to Music Man, and later on in life, Jesus Christ Superstar and Godspell and Hair, and everybody sang around the house. So, and my mother had an incredible, great voice. She was in like a bunch of glee clubs, kind of, how.
Mm-hmm.
Like Glee or Fame show, that kind of thing. My mother was into that in high school, and she won a bunch of awards, and but never looked at her future that way. She wanted to have children and take care of children, and she was a great Army wife. I mean, she's probably spinning around in her grave right now, going, "I was much more than that." Yeah. But
now you clearly,
yeah,
I'm gonna say you clearly made the right choice with singing, because I heard you had the opportunity to either be in or audition for Van Halen.
Oh man, get some better bait on the hook, will you?
Or is that one of those Wikipedia bullshit stories?
No, it's a true story, but it's fucking been beaten to death.
All right, you know what? Here's what we're gonna do, Eric. Fuck Van Halen. Let's not talk about that.
No,
I'll just tell you, I was invited, like a few others that I know. Patty Smythe was invited, to audition, and I was really excited about it for a week, and then I backed out slowly.
Really?
I knew in my heart, yeah, like the guys, like, I don't know if you're a singer. There's so many other singers that I've talked to. They go, "Oh, I would have went in there and I would have done this." I'm like, look who you're going up against.
Yeah, that's intimidating when you really think about it.
David Lee Roth, the king of rock and roll, through a long, long time, sang, he good voice, bad voice, whatever you like. He was the greatest entertainer that we had in our generation, right? And look at him, and he's gone. And then I'm like, "Hey, I want you to come down and audition for the band." I'm like, "Fuck yeah, I'm gonna," real high voice. "Yeah, you're right. I'm gonna fucking do it." And then he hangs up the phone. I'm like, put my
yeah,
mouth.
Exactly.
Oh man. So that's a story. That's a great story. I never told it that way before. I've always told that I chicken shitted out. But my main thing was I've said this before. I'm going to say it. I said it so many times before, saying it going to be the last time I talk about it. But those are mighty big clown shoes to fill. How dare me even consider? I should have just went, you know what? Move on to the next. Thank you for calling, Edward. Edward, thank you. Click.
See, I'm a horrible singer, even though I sang in a band forever. And I would have even jumped on that chance just to audition with them too. Absolutely.
You wouldn't have or would have?
I would have. Absolutely. No, I would have done it.
Well, you have a lot of confidence, son.
Yeah, and a little too much. Too much.
Or you might have been, your hard as nails. You might have been picked on so much in your life that you're like, fuck it, fuck this. You got to have a.
What do I got to pay you a fucking copay now for a therapy session? Jesus Christ.
Well, that's how I feel right now, dude. I'm like, I was in a shitty mood before we got the Zoom thing going on, but I'm a little happy talking about You go ahead.
All right.
Caller, you're on the air.
Now, listen, I had a friend too. He's an amazing singer, and he had gotten the call to audition for Alice in Chains when Alice in Chains singer passed away.
Yeah.
And this guy could pull it off. I mean, with no question.
Cool.
And went out there, and that was just, one song, and you're done, and that's it. And you fly back.
I got to tell you, I have a bunch of friends. I live in Northern California. I have a bunch of rock and roll musicians around here. And this one guy, Mark Choley, who I played with for many, many years, a bass player. And he was doing auditions left and right. And he's a rock and roll bass player. But he went down to audition for Tracy Chapman back in the day when she had, "You're Gonna Drive My Car," and all that thing, right?
Yeah, best car.
And she was on the chart. She was doing great. And he went down and auditioned. He learned all the songs, went down and auditioned. And she's kind of a little snippy snip to him, right? And she goes, "Yeah, I'll call you." And she never called. He never talked about it. But man, I talked about it. I was like, fuck that bitch, A lot of musician friends of mine went down to audition for the Foo Fighters when they were looking for guitar players. But I looked at it like, I never really thought, I thought I was good. I'm great. I'm fucking great now. I could do it now, but I'm great. At the time, and this is a year before Billy Sheehan called, I didn't have the confidence. I was great live. I was awesome live. And I was really
Why didn't you have confidence, Eric?
I was really good at doing my own thing, but I never auditioned for anything before, really. And I was incredibly afraid, So
Do you regret not going in and auditioning?
You know what I did? No. I guess, the old saying that I used to say, which is an old saying, if I would have done it, I would have had bragging rights, but then I would have been just on a long list of guys who didn't make it. I'm the guy who didn't do it. And I get a lot of shit from it. All those singers that come up to me and go, who are great singers, and some of them suck balls, but they think in their head that they could do it, but they always say that they would do it. No offense to you, who I'm looking at. Sean, is it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No offense to you and your friends and stuff. And I know you say that now, you do it, but like you're called on the phone a couple times within that week. "Hey man, I love your voice." And he goes,
"Who called you?"
Edward, he called me and he's talking to me. We're yapping away, and a producer played him one of the songs I did on my an album that just came out on Capitol Records. And he goes, "I love your voice, but I hate your record."
That's a left-handed compliment.
Yeah. But you know what I said? I'm like, "You're right. I hate it too." I mean, he had the power, man. He was Eddie Van Halen. Nobody called me in that caliber. I had a lot of good friends in Journey, and I actually knew Sammy Hagar back in the day, and still to this day. But Eddie Van Halen calls your house and says, "All these people are vouching for you, and they say you're a great singer. And I heard your voice, and I love your voice, but I fucking hate your record. I don't think you're doing the right thing. You shouldn't be doing this rock and soul thing. You should be doing, Van Halen type music or whatever." He said, "You should be doing more harder rock and roll." And I was like, "You're right." So, and look, it didn't work out, and I don't know, the stars didn't align. It didn't work out. Steve Lukather called within
from Toto.
Yeah. Maybe a couple months later or whatever the time. I don't remember if I think it was in the afterwards, and asked me to audition for Toto. And I did that. Fuck yeah, I did it. Cause I felt like I was comfortable enough to be in that band because Steve Lukather had played on a couple of my solo records. And so, right off the get-go, we were really good friends. So I did Audition for Toto, and I was there for about a week singing all the hits, Africa, Hold the Line, Georgie Porgy, 99, Pamela, like all the hits, and I didn't make it. And then only about, I don't know, shortly after that, my good friend and producer, Mike Varney, called me up and said, "Hey, Billy Sheehan's looking for," he goes, "First of all, you know who Billy Sheehan is?" I'm like,
yeah, Billy's a past guest on the show.
Awesome. So when Billy, he goes, "Yeah, you know Billy Sheehan is." I'm like, haven't got a clue. I didn't know, I didn't know, I saw him on MTV in the Yankee Rose video.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I didn't know his history until I met him, Talus and UFO. Talked to him about UFO. He was in UFO for about an hour and a half. You should talk about that.
It.
I offered to give him bass lessons. He didn't really take that too kindly.
Did he? He went, oh, like a
pretty much. Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, he's a diplomat.
Yeah, he is. He wanted to tell me to go fuck myself, but it's okay. He was very nice about it.
Did he? Well, then you guys know him really well, man, because you don't see those true colors come out.
He was great. He was great.
Yeah. So without just going on and on about it, I'm just saying that Mike Varney introduced me to Billy Sheehan on the telephone, and I didn't really know who he was. I thought he was a pretty colorful cat. Try to say that 5 times. And Billy said, "Yeah, I'm looking for a singer." And I go, "Well, who do you got? What other guys you got?" And he goes, "Just you and me." And I go, "Yeah, okay." And I was thinking nothing. I was just about ready to be dropped from Capitol. And another record company drop. And I was like, "Oh, fuck, man, I need to do something. I've done everything so far. So I need to get in a straight ahead rock and roll band." So me and Billy we did a couple demos, and we hoofed all over Los Angeles and was, giving people our demos. Anyway, long story short, Paul Gilbert came in, then Pat Torpey came in, and then it was Mr. Big. So the stars aligned on that trip, Right.
So yeah. Mr. Big winds up having a couple of huge hits with "To Be With You," "Just Take My Heart." There were hits for the band, but did it kind of hurt the perception of who the band actually was? Because you guys were a hard rocking band, but people knew you from these slower ballads.
Not necessarily. In the beginning, on the first album, it was all dudes that came to the show. We had a underground hardcore rock audience. Yeah, I mean, some girls would show up just, for me. I don't know what I'm talking about. Anyway, but it was all dudes, looking at the pedals and all the fast fingers and listen to our first album music. But and then when the second album came and Lean Into It, there was a bunch of rock that came out. And then To Be With You, months later, as a single. And then a bunch of chicks started coming to gigs. And then I'm not saying, I mean, we were all in our 40s, maybe at the time, late 30s, 40s. Not Paul Gilbert. He looked like he was 24 for 30 years. But maybe a younger audience or a different audience that were used to start coming in, and I could see their faces going, "Whoa, this is different." To be, they're only coming to see To Be With You and Just Take My Heart, and being a little shocked by it, but it all worked out. We were this hardcore rock and roll band and with a dude audience, and we're on tour with Rush, and then all of a sudden we had all these hits, and then the audience got bigger, and when I looked into the audience, to me, it looked like, oh, this is kind of like a Journey audience, and it was okay. Nobody said shit. Everybody's, the only people that say shit are you guys.
I like in that album when those two big hits came out to the band Extreme. Extreme was out for a long time, exactly. And then they had Wholehearted and More Than Words. I remember going to see them open up for ZZ Top, and they were the first, they were the opening band, and they came out and he goes, look, we have these 2 big hits. I know you want to hear them first. So if all the teenage girls want to leave after the second song, please feel free. And they opened up with Wholehearted right into More Than Words. Then they rip into like Decadence Dance, one of their hardest songs. And the place emptied, just literally emptied, because they only came to hear the 2 songs.
That sucks. That's a
terrible
story. It's a great story, and you was riveted on my seat here, but like a terrible story I hate the end of a happy ending. Anyway.
Yeah.
What I do now, I play a lot of acoustic shows all over the world. And I say, it's always off the cuff, do a lot of improv. I'm probably not as funny as you guys, but I'm funny. I can bust balls and have a good time on stage. And I have a couple buzzwords that I say, and I do say, hey guys, you just want to hear To Be With You. I don't know what you came for, but you just want to hear To Be With You right now so you can go home and pay your babysitters. That's my thing. And they're like, no, we'll stay. But God, you had me at Extreme opening to ZZ Top. I mean,
who put that show together?
It's a weird lineup.
Left field, right field.
Yeah, definitely.
Wow. I was going to say, I was in Europe, and we were playing this. Man, it looked like it could have been a great fucking show. It was called the Freehold Festival. And there was all these posters around. I don't know about like a great show, but it was massive. It was supposed to be like 10,000 people. And it was in Germany. It was in a place called I swear to God, it was called Farfignugan. We used to make jokes about that kind of stuff. Farfignugan, which I think made Volkswagens back in the day. But it was kind of a weird, roll off the tongue kind of joke that you would say back in the day. But anyway, and all the bands were there. And I saw these posters, and the posters were weird. It was like Jesus Christ on a cross with the horns and blood coming down. Like it looked really heavy metal kind of thing. But the Freehold Festival, I go in this smoky ass bar, and all the bands are there, and it was us and Extreme. And I'm like, oh man, this is going to be great. I've never seen Extreme before. Our ships would pass the night. Our tour buses would pass, on the freeway all over the United States, but we never met them or saw them play. I think Paul knew Nuno or something like that. But we get to the festival, and man, it's like maybe 3,000 people in this gigantic field. It was so depressing.
Yeah.
And the only bands that played that day were us and Extreme. And Extreme, Nuno played a guitar solo, and he had this ghetto blaster. It was like this, and I think sometimes he still does it. It's like a ghetto blaster that played this music behind him. And he was like doing this with this ghetto blaster. And it was really great. It was so fantastic. And he was in a really bad mood because it was 3,000 people in this 15,000 seater gigantic Woodstock. And they played More Than Words, and it was beautiful. But that's right. They played More Than Words. Then he played the solo. And I don't know if you could remember this. I was right there. I was 3001. That was my seat. And I look up, and he's up there, and he's like, this is bullshit. He smashes his guitar right on the stage. And I don't know why I told you that story. That's just, I hope he's listening. I want him to call me up and go, you got that wrong. No, or I want to go, oh my God, you were there.
He's one of those brilliant guitar players that like every guitar player in the world just like drops to their knees and bows to.
I got one of those. I have one of those too, man.
Yeah.
I mean, no offense to Nuno, but Paul Gilbert, same thing.
Oh, it's insane. It's absolutely insane.
People can walk into the room backstage for a meet and greet, and I go, hey, good to meet you. I'm holding my hand out, and they're like, oh, mecca, hiney, hi, mecca, hey. So we did end up, we opened Extreme in Australia. They opened to us. I don't remember. We played together. in Australia, and that was really great hanging out. Yeah. Anyway,
talk about like Australia. There's one thing I was wondering. You're one of these bands that falls into this category. Amazing musicians, killer songs, amazing voice, have great success here, but are fucking gigantic in Japan.
Exactly.
I don't understand why certain bands blow up in different countries. I mean, what's the following like over there? Like, is there a big like radio? Back in the day, was like radio gigantic over there, and were they just like really just yearning for American culture too?
They had the American culture. I mean, when we first came in, when we first flew in to Tokyo, Pat was like, man, I don't like this food. I'm not going to dig this. I can't. He couldn't wait to play Japan, but he goes, what am I going to eat? That was his only thing, right? We touched down and we're driving to the hotel, and he sees the McDonald's and he goes, the embassy, the American embassy. Anyway, I don't know why I said that, but Japanese people, first of all, radio played everything. America, they played either back in the day, they just played rock. That's it. And then they played, then rock, then it was like, bye-bye rap, bye-bye country, bye-bye. There wasn't a lot of, there's just not a lot of diversity here. Like on mainstream radio. Now I don't even know what mainstream radio is like anymore, because I have Sirius radio and that's like,
it's mainstream radio is brutal now. They play the same 15 songs over and over again. It's unlistenable. It
is. It's like and God only knows. It's not like when we were younger, when we'd hear something on the radio, I couldn't wait to hear the rest of the record. It sold me enough where if I love this band, I go, wow, this band's really good. I'm going to go check out the record. Now you hear that just like these guys just my kids are the demographics. They're 16 and they're just, it's like it's like Animal Farm. It's just like, it's just,
Eric, you don't have to listen to a whole album anymore because everything is just released as singles. You can go on Spotify, you can go on, on Alexa, on the Amazon thing. And just say, I just want to hear this song. And no one has the patience or the stamina to listen to a full album anymore.
Not everybody.
Well, people like us will listen to a whole album. But the younger generation now that
we're going to the mothership. Yeah, exactly. Japan radio in the 80s, late 80s and 90s was like Sirius radio. They played everything, and they really got a hold of hard American rock of the 80s and 90s. I think it's, it's also how you act. They didn't really care for, I don't want to be shooting myself in the foot here, but this is just my opinion. We were the band that kind of wore the white hats, we didn't have controversy behind us. We weren't assholes. We weren't throwing TVs out of the windows. Those were cool. The 70s and the Who and Led Zeppelin, all that shit. That's good for them, but we weren't that kind of band. And I think they liked that about us. We campaigned constantly. We wrote them back. We got thousands and thousands of letters, and we were like sitting in a hotel room, jet lagged out of our brain, writing them back, making this sort of friendship on fire for all these years. And, when a lot of bands get there, it's like Asgard, it's like or Valhalla, they look at this and they're like, oh my God, this is so amazing. And they love us and they're treating us like the Beatles. Goodbye. We love you. We'll see you soon. And they leave and they never fucking come back. They never come back because it's too expensive to come back, or they just don't come back. So all the bands that came back, they put us up on, I don't know, a pedestal, but they bought our records. They came to our shows. We weren't, when they stopped kind of buying the records for a second, is when our band broke up for a minute. When Paul Gilbert left in '96, Richie Kotzen came aboard, and he was a phenomenal guitar player.
He's my favorite guitar player on the planet.
Oh man, and good guy. Kind of when he first made him, he's got a little bit of an attitude, but he's such a genuine guy underneath all that bravado and swashbuckling attitude. He's gonna laugh. He's gonna laugh at me. I got to tell you a story about that too. Anyway, but yeah, I met Richie Kotzen when he was 18 years old, so I knew the guy really well. Great guitar player, fucking killer singer, even better showman now. Better showman. I mean, entertaining showman, guitar player guy, but as a singer and a kind of a solo artist, I was out there on the road last year. I'm thinking it's like BC, before COVID.
Right. You can say last year. Comics do this now. We always preface it now and say, hey, last year means 2019. We don't count 2020.
Exactly.
We just say last year.
BC's good too. You can use it.
Yeah.
I saw we were playing this festival, and it was actually 2018, so it was way BC. And it was Mr. Big and Richie Kotzen played on the same bill. And the way he was talking to the audience, he doesn't usually talk that much on stage. He had the crowd in the palm of his hand, and so his bar keeps he raises his own bar. He's just a great musician, and I thought he was such an asset when he got into our band. Paul Gilbert's a god, no question about it. But Richie Kotzen is another Zeus as well, you know. So he's up there playing with us, and you could totally, I felt it. You know, we were playing Budokons and big, huge Osaka domes and shit with Paul, and then with Richie, we didn't play Budokons. I mean, we were like Yokohama Arena, still 10,000 people, but not, you know, the big kind of places. And I didn't know why, because Richie, I mean, Paul wasn't there, but Richie elevated the band. We sounded great. Our records were great. And we're still a viable, is that the right word? We're still a great band live. And the crowd just didn't dig it because we broke up. It was like an attitude. It was a thing. You know, we broke up, but we still love you. And we got a new guy. It's like, nope, we like the old guy. We like the way it was. We like the way it was. We want, you know, when you first came in and, you know, and wined and dined us and, you know, foreplay and, you know, made love to us. We want those guys. We don't want, you know, this new girlfriend, you know?
Yeah. A lot of people don't like change when it comes to a band.
No.
You know, when Vince Neil leaves Motley Crue, it's like they go from playing stadiums and arenas and they're playing small clubs again because they have to start all over again. It's a weird thing. It really is. It is a weird thing.
John Corabi, I thought, did a great job for Motley Crue and had a different spin on it.
It's their best record, by the way, by far.
Which one?
The one with Corabi.
Yeah, Hooligans Holiday and all that. But like, it was a soulful rock. It was a rock. You know, he's a great soul belter. I love John Corabi, but it had this rock and soul Motley Crue. People didn't want it. You know, a lot of people did, like you and, you know, and me and a few others, but they didn't like the change. But that being said, Sammy Hagar pulled a rabbit out of a hat. People didn't want that to happen. David Lee Roth leaving Van Halen. What the hell? Henny Penny, the sky is falling. You know, that shit. But Sammy Hagar pulled it.
It's very rare. It's very rare when you pull like a key component out of a band and the band stays successful.
What do you guys think? I'm sorry.
And I was going to say, it's something that still people talk about to this day in 2021. Which version of the band do you like better, with Dave or with Sammy?
Absolutely. Well, they don't. What about Gary? Come on, guys.
I think he got a really bad rap. He got a bad rap.
Of course he got a bad rap.
He did.
That was all Eddie.
Dude, I was just like you guys. You know, like you're asking me about Van Halen. the first thing I said to Gary was like, "Hey, tell me about Van Halen, man. What happened there?" And he goes, "I did it, and me and Eddie they loved Gary. The band loved Gary. That's what it always looked to me in interviews. They were so happy for him, but like they even knew that,
that was a no-win situation.
Well, sometimes the chemistry just doesn't work.
I think the chemistry was there. I think it was just such horrible fan backlash that people just refused to actually support them. It was a great record. I thought it was a great record.
You know what? That's funny that you say that they refused to support them. I remember when we toured with Rush, and our first couple of gigs with Rush. I mean, they love Billy and Paul and all that, but as a band, we came in, I could see people making a beeline out to go get a beer or get the merchandise, or people just turning around, just like no. Not
even giving you a chance.
I don't want this band. I want just an evening with Rush. I could give a shit about what's going on here. Thank God for Alex and Geddy going, "Hey, we love this band, man. Thank God they're on the band, so they are on the show, so they bring chicks at our gigs, You know what I mean? Yeah, Gary didn't stand a chance, poor guy. But I want to ask you guys this. Is it because Gary didn't sound like Sammy had a kind of a soulful rock voice, but he did all that, yeah, come on, hello, baby, David Lee Roth, and so it was a sexual energy vibe, right? And maybe Gary didn't have that. Well, look at Journey, and you had Steve Perry, right? And every singer that they had after it, like Steve O'Gerry from Tall Stories, and he sounded like Steve Perry. There was another guy that I thought was perfect for Journey, if they were going to go in that way, was this guy Kevin Chalfant, that I thought was a great singer. But every singer they had sounded like Steve Perry. But then you got like Jeff Scott Soto, who I thought was great in Journey, but they were like, nope, we don't want this,
Dean Castronovo could have sang for Journey.
Well, that's the thing. And I love Dean. But
his version of Mother Father is insane.
It's brilliant. But it's so weird watching Journey with all these singers that all sound like Steve Perry.
It makes it seem it's not that hard.
It's like a cover band. I went and saw Axl sing for AC/DC. Right. And my buddy got us tickets. I'm like, all right, this is going to be great because I'm a Guns N' Roses fanatic. And I'm watching and I'm like, all right, this is cool. This is cool. By the fourth song, you're like, all right, this is okay. And then like by the seventh song, we're like, we can go home, right? Beat the traffic. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we just left. Like it was a strange, like,
I don't get that collaboration. Man. I don't get why you would do that.
But they do it because maybe none of those bands need the money.
No.
At all. But they're thinking maybe the fans want, they want to hear it. They're mixed up a little bit in the brain, because I thought Axl did a great job of covering for Brian.
Jones, right.
But that many shows, I mean, like, God, do you have to do a whole fucking tour? Couldn't you do just a couple shows? Doing like a bunch of shows was like, I'm sure some people liked it. To me, I didn't really care for it.
It was so weird. I remember a time back in like it was the late 90s, I think, where Ozzy had gotten sick and Rob Halford filled in for him for a couple shows. I think it was like 5 or 6 shows, and I have them recorded. And like you listen to it, I'm like, this is the greatest fucking thing I've ever heard in my life. And it was so awesome because I'm freaking out because I'm a Priest fan, I'm a Sabbath fan, but I wouldn't want it all the time.
No.
I wouldn't want that permanent replacement.
Eric, what do you think about bands that go out and tour under the band name and there's maybe one or no original members, kind of like what Foreigner does sometimes when Mick isn't even with the band?
You trying to get me killed here in my community? Well, it would bother me if I was a fan. Like if I was actually, I don't have anything to say about it. I don't know. Some of these bands, they got to make money. They got to, they got kids to feed. They got mortgages. They got divorces to pay for, I don't know. I mean, they're keeping well, I was talking to this guy the other day. He drove, he picked up Foghat from the airport. And I was in North Carolina, and he picked up Foghat from the airport, and it was just, there's nobody in Foghat. There's nobody left except, Roger Earl, the drummer. What are you doing, Roy? What's going on, mate? Anyway, they're great. The lead singer is really great live. Nobody kind of remembers, these days, maybe the older audience like myself would go, oh man, I miss the old guys. But there's nothing you can do about it because most of those guys are dead, yeah. And or way too sick to rock out anymore. And if they were giving them their blessing to keep the torch burning, I would say, then I would channel my brain to go, yeah, I'm going to support this band. I love this band. I mean, I don't know why Lou Gramm and Mick Jones, I don't know if he's ill or not, but Lou Gramm has his own band and Mick Jones has Foreigner. I don't know why they just don't play together.
It makes no sense because you have Great White and Jack Russell's Great White. You have Skid Row and you have Sebastian Bach playing. They're all playing the same shit. How about you stop playing 400-seat places and get back together and play a fucking few thousand-seat
Exactly.
What about a guest that we had about a week ago when we had Jizzy Pearl on, and now he's the singer in Quiet Riot. And with Rudy just came back to the band, but there was like nobody. There was no original members in Quiet Riot yet that's still touring under the banner of Quiet Riot.
Well, they're alumni, aren't they? I mean,
yeah.
Alumni.
Well, they had Chuck Wright. He was the only kind of link to the band.
He was probably on the third album.
Is Chuck still in the band? Because I love Chuck. Anyways, if you're going to carry the torch and move it, like the Temptations, I used to love them. And I'd seen them live a few times in Tahoe. But there's nobody left, really. Maybe the one guy, Melvin, is a kind of just my imagination. That guy. But there's nobody left. But they're carrying the torch,
Yeah. It's kind of weird when you see these like doo-wop shows like on like the public access when they're selling the CDs and stuff like that, and they bring out like, hey, you know what? It's Little Anthony and the Imperials, and like there's a guy who's 32 years old who's singing. There's like one 87-year-old guy who they wheel out. Point. Yeah, it's kind of strange.
But it is strange to maybe us that. I don't know. Look at the fans in the audience.
Yeah.
You can't see their faces. You can see it behind, and they're like,
Yeah, I get it.
People just want to hear the songs.
Yeah, every generation wants to hear their music is what it comes down to.
Right.
I mean, look, I'm more of a fan of an original band. You got, I don't know what Steve Perry, Steve Perry put out a couple solo albums, right? And then you got Journey. I'm like, I don't know what the fight is about. Well, I kind of do, but I don't know what the fight's about. But as a fan, we don't know what the fight's about. It's like Moonstruck. Snap out of it. Just, get up there and fucking get together. I don't care about the fight. I just want to see you guys up on the same stage. There was a thing years ago. I totally get Winery Dogs, and I totally get Sons of Apollo and Paul Gilbert's solo stuff, Werewolves of Portland and the whole, but I get all that. But I remember this was right before we got back together as a band in 2009. I want to say it was 2006 or 7. And I was playing this little club in at the end, I don't even know the name of it. The Italian, how it's shaped like the boot. Italy, and at the bottom, right next to Sicily, or Malta or whatever down there. I'm playing this like out of the woods, way out in the middle of nowhere, playing this gig. And there's these posters, and it's a Paul Gilbert poster, a Richie Kotzen, a Billy Sheehan, and mine. And I'm like, what the fuck? And I thought to myself, we could save on paper if we actually got back together. That's how I thought that was funny. We could save on fucking the paper. We could just make one fucking poster and get back together. I thought I'd get a big laugh at that, but the comedians don't laugh at amateur comedians. I'll have you know, motherfuckers, that I've been making people laugh for a long time.
Well, you wouldn't want to hear us play instruments or sing this out.
Yeah.
I got 6 guitars sitting right over here that I'm looking at. And I'm like, yeah, I'm never picking those fucking things up ever again.
So before you hold that thought, rein it back a little bit. I'm looking at your office.
Yeah.
Sean, is it Sean? Who am I looking at right now?
No, you got 2 of us on there.
Okay. I see purple and red. Red, Sean, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, your room. Holy shit, you're a collecting whore.
Yeah, it's really, really bad. It's really fucking bad. And I have half of this stuff up here. I have a stack. I literally right now have about 25 autographed CDs and albums that I have no fucking idea where I'm putting. So I just bought this house, and I might have to get another house just to put all my shit up on the walls.
I love when people say shit like that. It's awesome.
The truth.
I love it. Yeah.
What is your favorite song to play live for Mr. Big?
I know what song it should be.
Me too.
I love.
No pressure.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I love when the lights go off and I'm going up the stairs and the crowd cheers. And over the last 10, 15 years, over the last 30 years, it's been Daddy Brother. And I feel great singing it. Live, it rocks even better than the record. And it's powerful. And right out of the gate, it's a bull in the china shop, and it's still soulful enough to like whet my appetite. And I would say that I love doing that. And I think
you're wrong. I think you're wrong, Eric. I think your answer should have been Green Tin and 60s Mind, personally.
That's a bitch to sing.
I know it is. Believe me.
I think you're both wrong.
All right.
I think it should be Take Cover.
Oh.
I mean, it shows off all you guys' talent. You guys are great.
That's my Jewish. That's like, you're so right. It's like words of my. I can't do it. Anyway, I can't do it. I got a little infection going on here.
It shows how great each of you guys are. I mean, so you don't know what's better: the drums, the guitar, the bass, your voice, the whole. I love that song. I can never get bored of it.
When the word, I don't know who made this word up, but when they said alternative rock or alternative music. When we had Take Cover and we played it, and it was a really cool video too. It was like, kind of looked like it was in Joshua Tree National Forest. It wasn't. It was in like studio with like dirt and trees and a lot of wind, but it was just a driving song with that beat. That beat that
right, that staggered beat. It's so cool.
Yeah, a lot of drummers can't play it. Pat was like meticulous, but it was such a hypnotic driving rock and roll song, and people were like, "It's a little alternative." I was like, "Fuck you!"
I hate that shit.
It's so stupid.
You know what it was? Because it was like there was rock and roll, and there was pop, and there was country, and then there was rap, and then there was all this other shit. And they had no other name for it, so they just called it alternative. And then it goes from like the Cure and REM, and now it's like
Cure and the Smiths were considered alternative.
Yeah, and like now it's like everything in the world falls under this alternative category. It's bullshit. I hate it.
Oh, it's absolute bullshit. Even, I remember. I was thinking about this the other day. Okay, Collective Soul.
who I
it's
love.
Sean's favorite band.
Love that band.
I love Collective Soul, but we were out there rocking out. Collective Soul's rocking out there, and it was like they were like at the tail. I don't know if they were in the tail end, but like they were a rock band, and then but they became a grunge band because they kind of looked like a grunge band.
Yeah, they fell into that, like, hey, we came out in like 93, right at the end of the, the tail end of the grunge era. Yeah. Okay, it's a lot easier for us to put a fucking flannel shirt on than it is for us to where we want to be,
Exactly. They had a flannel shirt on and like holes in their jeans. They were like, okay, next, you're grunge. Like the Ellis Island of rock. You're grunge. You're rock. You're pop. No, rap. Yeah, you're coming around the corner there.
By the way, that was your best joke so far. Ellis Island of rock. That was good.
Oh, you guys didn't like this? Yeah, BC is probably in my first set.
Listen, open with it. Jeff is such a horrible comic that he stole those two jokes. Just so you know, he's using them tomorrow night.
I'm open. Yes, that's my opener tomorrow.
Dude, I'll be your Carlos
Mencia.
Right? No, take him. I mean, and then in the end, when you do a meet and greet and you shake hands and they go, "Oh fuck, that was so funny, that Ellis Island thing," and you went, "Yeah,
fucking Eric Morton,
fucking Eric Morton, that bastard from."
I asked Billy this question on the interview, and he was very diplomatic, and I yelled at him for saying his answers too. So you're the singer, and you have every available resource, dead or alive, to pick your ultimate backup band for you. Who's your guitar player? Who's your bass player? Who's your drummer? And if you fucking say Billy Sheehan, if you say Paul Gilbert, I'm gonna be really pissed.
Did he say he probably said Paul Gilbert, Bad Dorby, but he didn't say me. Probably
he did.
He did say you.
He said it's a toss up between Richie and Eric.
To the tape.
I thought because Billy has a great sense of humor.
He did. It was very funny. He was very funny.
Yeah, he is.
Somebody in that band has to be Eric.
No, we were all pretty. Actually, me and Billy were the funny ones. We had to have a couple glasses of wine, and we were like, it was like, live at the Sunset Strip on a tour bus, But yeah, I thought he'd say somebody else just to be funny. For me, and I can't. Okay, you got to be specific. I can't say the guys in Mr. Big because
you could, but it's just like we're going to expect.
But that would be kind of a cop out.
Yeah, it's like, am I saying, look, I've been hosting this stupid podcast for a year and a half with Jeff. Is Jeff my favorite co-host? Fuck no, he's not my favorite co-host at all.
All right, hold on a minute. I would tell you to fuck off right now, but you guys are becoming good friends. Hold on a minute. Pat Torpy, fuck you. It's a gimme.
Okay.
He's on drums.
Great drummer.
Yes.
Great drummer. I would say Stevie Ray Vaughan on guitar.
Oh,
can't go wrong with that.
Did you just? Somebody just did the same thing.
No, it's amazing.
He did the Jewish.
Yeah, I'm Italian, so it's very close.
I'm not Jewish. I'm just like, I'm everything. Anyway, so
bass player.
I got it in my head. I just can't remember his name at the moment.
He's gonna say Billy Sheehan.
James Jamerson.
Who's that?
I think that's his name. James Jamerson. Bass player for the Motown, all the Motown hits.
Oh, okay.
Was he part of that Wrecking Crew? Was he part of the Wrecking Crew?
No. Wrecking Crew was the LA guys. That's like Glenn Campbell and right.
Yeah, you had some amazing musicians in there.
Yeah, he played a lot of stuff. James Jamerson.
Jamerson, I think that's his name. And there was another guy too. He was a black guy, but there was a white guy too that played a lot of those Motown hits. But like that guy on bass, Pat Torpy, who could play anything. I like guys who are like can play all kinds of styles of music. I mean, Billy Sheehan, I've watched him play funk, and I've watched him play "To Be With You," which is the simplest song in the history of mankind. And I've seen him play rock, but his main thing is a rock bass player. Pat Torpy, anything and everything. James Jamerson, bass player. the tower power horn section.
Okay.
I'm going for big band. Second guitar player. Can I have 2 guitar players in my band?
Sure.
Okay. I could have said Jimi Hendrix, but Jimmy and Stevie would be battling it out, and they would
It's got to be a rhythm guitar player now.
You got it. Yeah. Oh shit! Like, you know, the best rhythm guitar player that's out there that I've heard in many, many years. I mean, I like the kind of phrasing he does, and almost Frank Hannon.
I know exactly.
Frank Hannon from Tesla. Not, believe it or not, you'd never guess that, but like you're probably
that was going to be my first choice.
Bullshit.
Yeah, we love Tesla. Tesla's a great band that, again, like we were talking about before, they fell into like that collective soul with the grunge. They fell into this whole hair metal bullshit when they were not a hair metal band in the least bit. You guys were not a hair metal band. You guys were fucking rock and roll bands, but because you came out at that time, everybody just got lumped into this whole big bowl of shit, and it was not fair to anybody.
Exactly. Ellis Island.
Fucking run with it, boy. Run with it. So Frank Hannon, yeah, I love Tesla too. They were, to me, like the reincarnation of Lynyrd Skynyrd, you know? There was just a great...
Okay, now, if you couldn't be in the band, who would you want to sing in that band? Like, what singers now do you really love?
I wasn't even thinking of me, truthfully. But I was thinking about a keyboard player. I would say Michael McDonald.
Oh, he's amazing. Doobies.
As a great keyboard player and singer. Can't understand a fucking word he says, but he's
right there. That's a Michael McDonald autograph CD up there with the Doobie Brothers.
Brilliant.
Love him.
Dude. Oh, I love the Doobs. I could have said Pat Simmons too, but I said Frank Hannon. So anyway, and then as a singer, dead or alive?
Yes.
I don't know if Otis would fit, but you know who would fit perfectly would be Steve Marriott, Humble Pie.
That's a good pick.
Before your time, boys. You'd probably say
Peter Frampton's band. Yeah.
I have Live at the Fillmore upstairs on vinyl.
You rock.
Jeff's a little bit older. See, he understands. I'm a little younger.
Jeff said Peter Frampton, and Peter Frampton was in Humble Pie. You know,
that's right. It's like one of the first real super bands, if you think about it.
Yeah. Holy shit, guys. I'm just looking at. Hold on. I'm going to need my Hubble telescope glasses to look at this motherfucker. I have 10% left in my computer.
We're wrapping up anyway. We're wrapping up. We only have one more thing we want to say to you, Eric. I want you to know.
Are you guys still here?
Yeah, we're here. As a 13-year-old boy who was always madly in love with this one little girl, it was many a mixtape that were made back in the day. Not like now where you send a Spotify playlist to somebody. Spent many an hour making the perfect.
I spit on their graves. Go ahead.
Yes.
Go ahead, young man.
Many an hour making the perfect mixtape to show my unrequited love to this girl. And on the first one was To Be With You by Mr. Big. And then when she denied my request for love and all the hatred songs were on there, Just Take My Heart was on the next one.
You are such a mo. Oh my God!
Oh, I was such a little queer. It was horrible. Oh my God!
I'm getting a new co-host after this. This is brutal.
Yeah. I was the kid who was blasting out the 80s, like Heaven by Warren, blasting it out the window towards the girl across the street to make sure she heard that I was listening to the cool music.
Yeah, did you have the boombox over your head?
No, out the window.
But it was just like that. Hey, look, that's what you're using those music as like. Love cards, you know, like card, you know, that was your fuck yeah, you did that. Good for you.
Horrible. What a horrible.
Don't encourage him.
No. That's I wrote To Be With You when I was a little kid, like 15, 16 years old, a good portion of it. Mainly, I wasn't thinking, oh, this is a great song. No, mainly to impress my sister's girlfriends who sat out in the front of our house We had this big oak tree, and they sat on the ground. And I remember this one girl's name was Anna Goodbody. So I could see it, man. I'm 16 years old going, hey, Joni, who's that? That's Anna. It's my friend. Oh, who's that? That's Vicky, and that's Christy. And I'm like, yeah, hold on for a minute. Hold on, little girl. Yeah, fuck yeah. Literally that, bro. So I totally thank you. I'm glad, I was like the angel on your shoulder.
Yes.
I hope, look, you didn't get her to be with you, but I hope you got her with Just Take My Heart. Although lyrically, that's a song about a major breakup. So,
None of your music got me laid, Eric, is what it comes down to. I just want to let you understand this. I got no pussy ever in my life from any lyric that you ever wrote.
Motherfucker. It's so funny. Not addicted to that rush. You could have the first time I got laid, I had Aerosmith, Lord of the Thighs playing in the background. I had that album playing on the background.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah. Some music can find true love, or find a love, get your foot in the door, love. And then some can just Aerosmith was my sex music, back in the day.
You didn't put on Kiss, side one of Kiss Alive 2, opening with Detroit Rock City.
Yeah, why not?
that was my song.
Dude, I may be hung.
Which is why Jeff didn't get laid till he was 27 years old either.
Hey, dude,
I was like 16 years old. I hooked up with like my teacher's daughter, and I played Kiss Alive 2.
Dude, of course you did. I may not be, hung like a porn star, but I got a pile driving ass, man, and that Detroit Rock City. Are you kidding? That was the shit. I totally identify with that. Jeff, John, you boys.
There you go.
I see how I spun it around. Like, it totally is like therapy, bro.
It really is. I'm going to Venmo you the copay.
Listen, we appreciate you. And before your computer goes dead, we appreciate you taking the time and hanging out and talking with us, man. You're great.
Thank you, man. Hey, if you guys want to continue to talk before this thing just goes, I can do that too. But
we're gonna do a volume 2 with you. We're gonna have you on again in a few months.
You should do, and then I'll be all jaded, thinking I'm hot.
Oh, I can't wait. Yeah. I want to see the real Eric Morton, not the nice one that was on here today. I want to see how the world has changed since you get back on the road.
Yeah. Before we let you go, can you tell us what's going on with you? Are you still doing that rock opera with I think it was Jeff Tate you guys were doing?
Yeah. It's called Avantasia. We're still in it. Right. Oh, dude, it's huge. It's like mega 90,000 people. They're headliners. Sweden Rock, Hellfest, Vaughan. I played Vaughan 4 times, I think now. Jeff Tate, myself, Jorn Landy, Ronnie Atkins from the lead singer for the band Pretty Maids. Really, really.
Oh, I love that band. Yeah.
They were
great.
I want your listeners, watchers, or whatever you call them, rock bird watchers, go out and check out Pretty Maids. They're really good. Bob Chapley from Magnum, from England's Magnum. Who else?
What was that song? Future World or something? Pretty Maids.
That was one of their first albums.
Yeah.
And that was kind of an 80s thing. Man, they put out many, many albums. They're a really great rock and roll band. Anyway, 6, 7 lead singers, Adrian Cowan, heavy metal singer, power rock band, German rock band, power metal, I guess. And 6, 7 singers. And I've been doing it for 6 years. I love it. And I'm doing a track for them now. I've been waiting for it forever. Tobias Sammet is the main guy, the lead singer and brainchild of the whole thing. I do a lot of acoustic shows. I just played 6 shows, Massachusetts, New Jersey, New York, something in Texas.
Where were you in New York?
I was at Rochester.
Nice.
Okay.
And you have PJ Farley. You have PJ Farley playing with you, right?
What'd you say, Sean?
You have PJ Farley playing with you, correct?
Fuck yeah. I have PJ Farley playing bass. And then this guy, Ben Hands, who's a percussionist for Kip Winger. And that's our acoustic show. That's called Eric Martin's Big Acoustic.
Mm-hmm.
I'm riding on my own coattails. What can I say? And then I also do an electric thing with PJ Farley and Steve Brown from Trickster, which I want to call Eric Morton and the Knuckleheads from New Jersey. They don't like that name, so we're just going to go with Eric Morton again. And
full circle.
And Joey Casada. You guys ever heard of this guy? Great drummer. He played in a band called ZO2 back in the day.
I've heard of the band, yeah, but I didn't know what the name was.
Yeah, ZO2. They had Paulie Z, David Z from Adrenaline Mob was the bass player, and he's passed away now. But Paulie Z. I'm sorry, Paulie Z, David Z, and Joey Casada had a television show that was on Bravo IFC, and it was called Z Rock.
Yeah, great show.
Yeah, and that's Joey Casada. He's a drummer. He's phenomenal. I keep saying phenomenal. I don't know. I'm throwing that adjective out a lot lately, but it's a shoe fits. This guy's a great drummer, and he's an author as well. He's got a couple books. But anyway, these are these guys that play with me. So I do the electrical thing, acoustic, Avantasia. Still waiting by the bat phone for Billy Sheehan and Paul Gilbert to do something with Mr. Big, but
you can always make a phone call to Hollywood and be Mike Myers' stand-in.
Fuck off.
We're getting along so good, and you have to say that, Sean.
You know what? I don't really want to tell, a new friend like yourself, Sean, and like the podcast that we're just doing right now. I don't want to say fuck off, but I just read on Facebook. Some guy was saying that. He said, like, oh, you look like Mike Myers or you look like Austin Powers. And my retort was, man, high school never ends.
Listen,
come on.
Here's the thing, Eric. You have your Mr. Big money. You have your Eric Martin money. I'm sure you wouldn't mind the fucking Austin Powers money. Let's just be honest here.
I thought you were going to say you still had some money, but like you could get corrective eye surgery. That would have been smart, but Austin. No, I don't want the Austin. I like my money.
Listen, you're a man of integrity, and I respect you even more for that.
All right, yeah. You're reeling it back.
I totally am.
I'm laughing on the inside. On the outside, I'm gearing up to give you another fuck off. All right, Jeff, you got something to say? I'm done with this bonehead. Go ahead, Jeff.
Yes. I don't blame. I'm done with him too. He lost me with his sappy Mosteen fucking mixtape to get laid, and I don't believe
Forever was on there too.
I don't believe he got laid off of that. I really don't.
No. I totally believe it, and I'm not getting rid of you completely, Sean. But I did hear you say, I told Billy Sheehan to fuck off, because he's saying, so I'm telling you to fuck off for what you just said and for what you just said about my boy.
I still love you. I still love you, Eric. I still love you. It's okay. Your words don't hurt me. I canceled the Venmo transfer for the therapy copay. Just letting you know.
If you do an updated version of your mixtape, Eric does a couple of great versions of Eternal Flame and Unbreak My Heart.
That's right.
Yeah, they're good, man. They're really good.
Great songs.
You're taking it out of context there a little bit. That was a project I did called Mr. Vocalist for Japan, and it was million seller Japanese artists, female, and I did a series of that. And then at the end of those, 2 records and maybe a couple Christmas things, they asked the Japanese fans, what female artists would you like to hear Eric do, American and British or whatever? And so this was a contest, and they asked me to sing all these songs. And I'm telling you that, I'm not hey, I'm ashamed of that shit. I mean, granted, when somebody's asking you to sing Celine Dion and fucking, Whitney Houston, you're going dear.
You did Mariah Carey Hero, I think, right?
Yeah. And I did a kick-ass version of that. But when I first was asked to do it, first when they said, we're going to call it Mr. Vocalist, I'm like, oh, dear God, it's a little much. It's a little full of yourself. And then these chick songs, I'm like, oh.
Did you have T-shirts that said Mr. Vocalist?
Oh, fuck yeah. Oh yeah, merchandise. Oh yeah.
You got a 3X laying around anywhere?
No, I wear that to bed. All right, so.
Oh, fat joke. That's how we're going to end it, on a fat joke, Jeff. Perfect.
No.
Booyah.
Where can our fans find you on social media? Do you have like a one set handle, or
is that what they call it? A handle?
Yeah, yes. Kind of.
Like what you used to drive a truck back in the day, and like, and go
on your CV.
Hey, rubber
your CV handle, yeah.
Hey, there's a smoky bear on your tail.
Jeff was the Staten Island Cocknose. That was his name on the CB.
No, listen, I have a really embarrassing name.
Oh, what? God, please tell me this.
It was Red Falcon, because I thought it was really cool. I was the Red Falcon because I thought it's like a superhero.
Red Falcon. Sean, you're out of your fucking mind. That's a great name.
I love this guy. I love
No. It's like a comic book hero.
Right, exactly.
Awesome.
I hate you both. Yes, what it comes down to, I really just do hate you both.
You played Just Take My Heart to Meet Some Chick. Are you high? That's like an oxymoron right there, man. No, I'm kidding. I'm busting your balls.
Let me tell you something. If this was a roast battle, Eric Morton just won.
He really did.
I have you beat. I was in a band when I was a kid, the heavy metal band, and I got Red Falcon's cool. I was in a band called Fire Beast.
Oh yeah,
Fire Beast.
Fire Beast.
Guarantee you there was no women ever at a Fire Beast show.
No fucking shit. You couldn't smell. You can smell it in the air. No, there would be all testosterone in that crowd.
You have bandanas wrapped around yourself
on our knees.
Yeah, it should have been around your neck with a name like that. Holy shit, that's terrible.
Oh, I know. Fire Beast. We had a big banner. With flames and shit, and our mother's soda. It was like silk back there. Fire Beast, and we practiced in a chicken coop in Sacramento, California, and then we didn't have hardly any gigs, so we basically opened the chicken coop door and like played for the other bands that were in their chicken coops, and then people were walking on the street, came up and like, what's going on here? Shooting up, watching. Anyway, yeah,
it's a Fire Beast show going on.
We'll be back next week when we open the chicken coop door.
That's fucking great. Eric, thank you so much for coming on. This is one of the more fun episodes we've had in a very long time. I'm not gonna lie to you. A lot of fun.
I appreciate that. And I like what you guys said in the beginning, that it was just a conversation and not like an interview. I like that type of, what is the word I'm thinking of? That
format.
Yeah. I like that a lot. Well, dude, I got to get going right now. I've been dying for a beer right now. I don't know why I could have just.
Yeah, I got 13 in my fucking fridge over here that I'm trying to get to for half a fucking hour, Eric. But you want to make fun of me, and I can't go to the goddamn freaking fridge. Jesus Christ!
And we had to get that Fire Beast plug in. So
that was worth it. That was worth it.
It's the beginning of a beautiful friendship.
Yes, it is.
I'm falling in love with you, fucking mopes. I appreciate.
Hey, the next time you come through New York, New Jersey, let us know. We'll be more than happy to plug your shows, man.
Thanks a lot. About the wherever you can find me, just find me. It's whatever Eric Morton Facebooks are out there. You can totally tell. You can see the fan page. They get it all wrong. There's an Eric Morton, 2 Facebooks. One is just I think it's just, I don't know what. Look, my ex-wife has to hook up my own stereo. I have no fucking clue what's going on with the technical world. I'm just saying, I'm on Twitter. Nobody can get a hold of me. Don't get a hold of me.
That's what I just said.
We'll go through you guys.
Sounds like a plan to me.
Yeah. All right.
Eric, once again, thank you very much, man. Great talking with you.
Yeah,
hopefully we'll have you on again soon.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Enjoy your Sunday.
Bye.
Later. Uh-oh, it's going to crash.